Hi, guys. I'm Nina,
I'm Jamie.
I'm Ethan.
and we are Bloody Essentials. We just want to thank everybody who's already supported the podcast. It really means the world to us, and it allows us to keep doing what we're doing. We also want to shout out our Patreons.
Yay!
We have Rick Paulton and Swift. Guys, thank you so much for supporting us, hanging out with us in person when we see you guys. Swift, we met just last year, 2024, face to face. And we're so thankful to call you a Patreon member. But more importantly, we're just thankful for your friendship. And, we're thankful that you have been supporting us just by listening this whole time. So thank you.
Definitely.
Seriously, thanks.
Yeah. Keep an eye out because we are sending some goodies your way, sir.
Yeah.
If you want to be mentioned in our episodes as well and receive fun little goodies from the entire Bloody Essentials team, you can join our Patreon. We have fun perks. Obviously, you get gifts from us, but you also have access to a Discord channel where you can chat directly with us and other listeners. We have monthly movie parties starting in February, which is going to be fun. And, lots of other fun little perks, like unedited episodes. So,
Yeah, those are always fun.
yeah.
Those get really fun, guys.
They do. And they're usually uploaded very early. So usually the same night as we recorded them. So keep an eye out for that. We would love to have you as a Patreon member, but it's a little recognition for those of you that listen regularly. No upcoming appearances yet, but it is still early in the year. So just keep an eye out. We'll definitely let you guys know when we have something.
We'll be up to something soon.
Oh, definitely. We've got some things up our sleeve.
Yeah. Tonight, we have a special guest. You might have seen her in our horror trivia virtual event that we did last October. Welcome, Mayara.
Hi,
Hey.
guys.
Hey, Mayara, welcome.
So good to
nice
have you
back.
Glad to be back. I'm excited.
We're excited to have you. Yeah. So, we are talking about one of my personal favorite horror movies, The Ring from 2002. So tell us, like, what was your favorite? Like, what was the first time watching this movie like for you?
It definitely was something. Because I grew up so sheltered, and my parents were like, "No, you can't watch scary movies." This one was, I think, the first recollection for me of seeing a scary movie. Because I remember very vividly telling my parents that I was not going to go to school because I was going to die. And my parents looked at me and they were like, "You're kind of crazy for thinking that, and you're like 7 years old. No, you're going to school." But yeah, it was an experience in and of itself, honestly, for me.
Definitely.
Love that.
Jamie, what about you? When was the first time you saw The Ring?
I saw this one in theaters, actually. Yeah, and so I remember it was definitely scared. My friends was with like a lot. Like, I think my friend stayed the night at my house, and she was like, "Do you have a nightlight or something? Because I'm gonna need some help tonight." And I'm like, yeah, I can set that up for us. So yeah, I loved it then. I thought it was super creepy and cool, and I haven't honestly seen it in a long time since then. So this was a treat to rewatch it. I'll save my thoughts for the episode, but it holds up, y'all. It really holds up.
Yeah, definitely.
I agree.
Ethan, what about you?
I also seen it in the theaters. I was in my 20s.
Oh my God.
That's so long ago.
Right?
Especially thinking of the year that it came out. It's like, wow. And it's crazy.
I know, time is really weird.
Yeah, honestly.
Yes.
I remember taking a group of friends to see it, and they were like, "Oh my God, this is going to be so scary." And I was like, "Yeah, okay. PG-13. Not that that's bad.
But usually
it's not. But usually I'm like, PG-13 horror movies suck. I did not think that. Mm-hmm. I'll leave. I'll talk about what I thought about the movie after as well. But this was not one that sucked. So I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
So
I saw this for the first time. I don't know how old I was. I'm not gonna lie. I won't reveal that, but it was far enough back that Blockbuster was still around. It's a long time ago,
Oh
kids.
my God, yeah.
And VHS was still being offered at Blockbuster.
Ooh,
Yes.
that was a while ago.
Yeah. So I was a kid. I remember I think my dad and I were visiting my uncle's house, and my uncle like loved scary movies. My dad did not. But my uncle was like, let's watch this movie, you know, and we got it on VHS and we brought it back and we watched it. And like I didn't really watch scary movies yet. Like it was still pretty early in my horror journey. So this scared the shit out of me, and I was convinced like that this little girl was going to come out of my TV at anytime. And like if there was static on the TV, I would freak out and like turn the TV off like really fast. Like I hated it.
Especially since you watched it on VHS too. That just adds to the, you have a VHS in your hand, you know, and you're like, oh, no.
Yeah.
I am not answering any phone calls right now if they come in.
Yeah.
No,
I do own the movie.
Uh,
I wish I had it on VHS someday. That's one that I really want to have on VHS. And Mayara and I actually did a horror book club recently, and we read the book.
Yes.
Which is very different than the movie.
Vastly different.
Yes.
Very interesting. Just a very good read for the winter, I think.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I definitely want to check it out. I had no idea there was a book. Like I had no idea until like Nina told me about it.
It's very it's very interesting. It's not so much supernatural. I'm just forewarn you there. It's not supernatural. It's more about viruses and how things spread. And that's what The Ring is. And it's basically what it is in the movie, but like it's not supernatural really. Like there's no creepy girl that's going to come out of your TV.
Nope.
So,
I will say that's one of my favorite parts of The Ring is that a creepy girl will come out of your TV, but I still want to give the book a read.
It definitely is more like science fiction-y type horror, which can still be good. There's a lot of sexist things that are happening in the book that didn't play well in the 80s and didn't do so well now. But,
you have to read it. It's kind of a very interesting take.
Yeah. It's very interesting. Yeah.
I'm so curious.
Yeah. I'll let you borrow it, Jamie. But it's interesting. Ironically enough, every single movie adaptation of The Ring is a female character as the lead. The Ring book is a man.
Yep.
And it's
very surprising.
Very interesting. But we'll leave it at that. Ethan, let's get into plot points.
The movie opens up with two girls watching TV, and they're just talking and yapping, and they start talking about this VHS tape, this urban legend that you're supposed to die in 7 days.
I'm just going to pause you already. Amber Tamblyn, can we get an appreciation moment for Amber Tamblyn?
Yes.
I forgot about her, and every time I rewatch this movie, I'm just like, I miss you. Come back.
I love her too, and her monologue is so fun because like she's hilarious. Like the first bit we get where she's talking about how TV signals and radio signals are messing with us or whatever. I thought the whole thing was so good,
and it was so suspenseful right off the bat. You know,
yes, it was.
It really drew you in from the moment the movie started, and it's just the color scheme as well. It's very different from your regular horror movies, I feel like. So those greens and those blues, it was just just so captivating from the go.
I've got more info on that in fun facts.
I'm excited. I love the green kind of hue to the whole movie. It gives it like a really cool, unique look. Like, love it. I think this whole intro sequence, we're gonna get into the rest of it, but it's like 7+ minutes long, and I think it's like perfect. Like the whole setup, that's a great way to intro a movie. But I digress.
Yeah.
So the one girl says to the other girl that her and her boyfriend watched this VHS tape. And then she starts to act like she's dying. And of course, it was a joke. So phone rings and she's like, goes over to answer the phone and she hands it to the girl and it's her mom. So her mom's calling, she's talking to her, whatever, blah, blah, blah. She hangs up, the other girl is gone into the other room and the TV is playing in the living room. So she turns it off and hears something in the kitchen, the refrigerator door open up, the girl's kind of like freaking out. So the girl goes upstairs, I'm assuming to find her friend, and there's some water on the floor and she opens the door and the Ring VHS tape is playing. So
dun dun dun.
Exactly. So when we cut to the next scene, we see this little boy who's in school and he's drawing. We later learn that his name is Aiden, but his mom, Rachel, comes to pick him up because she's late. The teacher wants to talk to Rachel about some things that's been happening in class. He's been drawing some pictures. They just found out that the cousin died, but she's like, here, he's drawing these pictures. And she's like, yeah, the cousin just died. He's like, yeah, 2 days ago, but he's been drawing this for a week. So right there, it was like, okay, what's up with this little satanic child? So
like, what? The disregard from Naomi Watts' character was just, hello, your child's drawing something.
I have that written down in my notes right here. I'm like, mom's in denial. The disregard for what's happening is ridiculous.
It's insane. It was blowing my mind. I'm like, please, you cannot be serious right now.
Even best case scenario, like that your kid is grieving, like you should have more of a reaction about this than just like, oh, this is just how they're coping.
Yeah, she's like, well, he'll talk to me if he needs to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe you should try talking to him.
Right?
Yes.
Take a second from your busy life.
Seriously.
Yes. I have to say though, journalist Real Talk there, I've loved her whole conversation on the phone with her editor where she's like, oh, you touched my column and I'm going to take that red pencil that you like so much. And I'm like, I understand this.
Yeah. Seriously, I love that.
And also, one of my favorite tropes in horror movies, I love when there's creepy kid drawings, like the kid is drawing creepy pictures.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite little like horror tropes. So I love seeing that throughout this.
Listen, I feel like that trope has traumatized me for life because anytime I see a child and it's drawing, I'm just like I just want to fling it across the room. Like, get it away. Like you bring nothing but bad omens. Yeah. Well, yeah, but you bring nothing but bad omens.
Just done to people. Get away.
Yes.
All right. So they're in the car and they're on their way home. They finally get home. She tucks Aiden into bed and Aiden tells her, we don't have much time. I'm sorry, what?
Uh-huh.
We don't have much time. Much time for what? We're gonna die.
And also, can I just say how grown that little kid was?
Yes.
Oh my God. I felt this wave of like pity and just so bad for him because that's no way for a kid to be living. Yeah. And it just tugged at my heartstrings that on top of him just being so self-sufficient and independent.
Right.
He also lost his cousin. So it just felt really bad for him on top of it all.
Yeah.
His parents definitely put off the vibe of like, you're going to fend for yourself at a very early age.
Very
unfortunately. Like his mom's a reporter and like, his dad's off doing his own thing. Doesn't even really want to be a dad. And it's just a heartbreaking situation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He has to be like, I called him Mr. Independent a couple times in my notes, and I'm like, oh, Mr. Independent, he's taking care of her, and just like holding things down, and poor kid.
I was thinking like, oh my God, he's like a little 45-year-old guy. Like, what's happening?
No.
After Aiden's like, look, we ain't got much time. We all gonna die. Rachel's like, okay, good night.
I know.
Gnarly.
So
dismissive.
right?
And
Okay,
doesn't
well,
he even call her Rachel? He doesn't
Yeah.
call her mom.
He calls her
I
Rachel. Yeah.
just
No,
had
I
to
have
note
that down
that
here.
too.
Crazy.
and
Yeah.
I know this is like in the 2000s, and y'all are younger, so maybe y'all got to call your parents by
Oh
their
hell
name.
no. Oh hell
No.
no.
But
My dad
had,
would have slapped my
I've
face.
never done it.
I was going to say, but had Nancy tucked me in, and I didn't say good night, Mom, I love you, or good night, and I was like, see you tomorrow, Nancy, I would have woke up like 3 weeks later.
For sure.
Because she
For
knocked my
sure.
ass out. So
Yeah, no, same. If I would have called my mom Irene, I would have probably been like a Looney Tune character with my wings and the harp.
right,
Yes.
right.
Oh
I'm
my
like,
God.
no,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No way.
No.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So anyway, we get to the next segment, and Mom's getting ready. She can't find her black dress because she's getting ready for the funeral, and of course, Aiden's like, "Yeah, it's over here." He's getting himself ready, doing his little tie. He's the 45-year-old who's getting Mom ready.
Yeah.
So they go to the
Yeah.
funeral. They walk in, and Rachel is now talking to who we know as the cousin's parents. So I don't know if it's her sister or brother.
Yeah, they don't really
It doesn't
elaborate.
say,
I would
but
I would assume
I
that
would
it's
assume it was her
hers.
sister. Yeah.
Because
the
you
vibe
don't
I
see the
got.
dad there at all. So
Right.
Yeah.
So she's talking to the parents, or she's talking to the mom, and she's like, I just don't understand what happened. She was perfectly healthy.
yeah.
A 16-year-old's heart just doesn't stop for no reason. She said she's talked to like 3 different doctors, and they can't explain it. They don't understand it. So she says, do you think you could please look into this and kind of help me? So with her being a journalist, she wants her to look into why she would have just, died for no reason.
Mhm.
So Rachel goes out to have a cigarette, and girls' friends are out there, and they hear him talking about the friend Becca, who's now in the insane asylum, and this is what happened. And Rachel's kind of like, what's going on here? What's
Tell me
what's
more.
taking
Get the
place?
scoop. Yeah.
Tell me more. So the I believe his name was Callan.
I
The
think
boy.
so, yeah.
He basically was like, it was the tape. This is what happened. That's the first
Yeah.
time she's hearing about the tape, and she's like, yeah, okay, sure.
I also love how these teenage girls are so dismissive of this adult woman because, of course, as teenagers, you can never trust any adult, right? But as soon as she's like, I used to get high, I'm down with the
Right.
lingo, they were just like,
Right.
okay.
Right, sure.
Hey, young people like me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, the guy being Adam Brody
Yes.
Adam Brody.
No.
did not
Mhm.
even realize that he was in it until
Yeah.
Same.
my mind just blocked it out because when I saw him, I was just like, "Oh my god, it's that guy!"
I
Yeah,
know.
that guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So after Adam Brody tells her about the tape, he also tells her that her boyfriend is dead too. That he apparently committed suicide died the same night. We don't know
We don't
that
know
he
if it was
committed suicide or
yeah.
what until then. Okay, so Aiden goes up into his cousin's room, and he's just kind of standing there in the dark, looking at a picture of them, being all creepy as hell, because that's what he does. Rachel comes in and says, we shouldn't be in here. Let's go. And she said, we shouldn't be in here. Let's go. But then she starts rummaging through her shit. So I'm like, should we be in there or not? I know you're a journalist and you want to find stuff, but one or the other.
Yeah.
So she goes in the notebook, and there's pages from, like magazines and stuff with like the face scratched out where it looks like the hair over it. So then Rachel has picked out some pictures, which I'm assuming from like a Walgreens or something for all of you younger people. When we used to take pictures,
I developed pictures.
We remember.
we had to take them to Walgreens and wait to see what the pictures looked like. We couldn't just get them right now. So she's going through and she's seeing all these pictures, and she gets to the end picture, and then all of their faces are like swirled and looking all jacked up. And I'm sure you guys probably noticed it was right in front of the cabin number 12.
Yep.
So
Sure was.
yes. All right. So Rachel decides that she's going to look into the boyfriend Josh's death. And she finds out that they have all died at 10 p.m. All four of the kids have died at 10 p.m.
I don't understand, like, as parents, why they aren't talking more about this. Like, one of them is dating the other. Like, I don't
Well,
understand.
I don't think that the girl was, I mean, she was dating Josh, but I got that she was dating him on the sly. Like
I
she
got
wasn't,
that too.
like she wasn't
Okay.
supposed to be. She was this good girl who's not going to do, not dating, not doing anything, and she was just doing it on the sly.
Because
Gotcha.
Rachel had no idea when the girls mentioned it. She was like,
Right.
"Oh," because they're like that her boyfriend, and she totally didn't know. She was like, "Oh, she
Yeah.
has a boyfriend." Okay.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's still rather shocking that you've got 4 teenagers dying at the same time on the same day.
Right. I mean, even if it's not her boyfriend, three of her friends died on the same day.
Right.
There's something going on
How
there.
how big is your social circle at 16?
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm like, if 3 of my friends died at the same time, it would be you two, and I have to get another one. So that's how small my group is. So
Oh,
Yes.
I'm kidding. I love all you people. So Rachel decides that she's going to go to the hotel, the mountain place where the kids were, and she talks to the clerk there about the kids and find out that they were in cabin number 12. And of course, he's just concerned with they didn't pay me, and so she's like, okay, here's my Amex. I'm gonna stay in cabin number 12 and get some sleep. So
You know what? For a second, I thought, brand placement? Because it was such a perfect shot of
Right.
the credit card that I was like, huh,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
that was perfectly placed.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're like, I want one of those credit cards right now.
Right. Middle of a horror movie, super tense. Yeah,
Hey.
I'm gonna apply.
I love it.
It's the psychological aspects that go into brand placement and all that. It
True.
is wild.
That is
It's
true.
true.
That is true. So Rachel's now in cabin number 12, and she finds the VHS tape and she watches it. And this is the first time we're actually seeing what's on there. We see the circle, the chair, the hair, the woman, everything that's in it, the bugs, the whole 9 yards.
I wrote intestine mouth as well.
Yes.
It's like the
Love
mouth
that.
with all the
Yes.
intestine mouth.
Love that.
Mayara, in the book, do you remember exactly what the video was? Because it's very different than what is in the movie.
Oh.
Ooh,
I
I'm gonna
can't
be
remember
honest, like,
specifics.
I cannot remember.
I remember one thing was like a volcano.
It was a volcano?
Yeah.
I do not remember.
So it's described very differently in the book because it's very similar in that like everything means something, but there's like a volcano because I won't get into it because you still have to read it. But like there's a volcano, there's things falling. I can't remember the specifics exactly, but I remember like the main character said he felt like increasingly nauseous and just like this pervading fear just getting bigger and
Bigger
bigger in
and
his
bigger.
mind. Yeah. And like he was like sweating and like it was an experience. It wasn't just like the images are scary. No, it was literally just this fear that was getting larger and larger in his head while also feeling physically ill from the images.
Yeah.
So,
It was like the whole thing, I remember.
yeah.
All right. So she's watched it. Now she gets her call for 7 days. 7 days, you're going to die.
Here we go.
Now we're on to Thursday, which is day 1. Aiden gets himself ready, goes to school himself because, well, who needs mom to do anything when he can
That's
do it
what
all
I do.
himself?
Right.
Exactly. So Rachel's now on the bed and she's just looking at the tape, in my opinion, just looking all crazy. Just sitting there like, I don't know what to do. So,
I mean, would you know what to do though?
well, true. I probably would not have known what to do. What I would have done was get my child ready and take him to school.
Right.
Well,
Instead of just letting him
There's
go.
that.
But, there's that. I don't care if, Satan told me he was going to kill me in 7 days. Well, for 7 days, I still got to be a parent. So
Right.
that's true. So true. But she wasn't really a parent to begin with.
Yeah,
So.
facts. Okay, so Rachel is now talking to Noah about the tape. And right now, we don't know who Noah is. We just know that she's talking to him. So she tells him, take a picture of me. So he takes a picture. Her face is screwed up. And Noah is like, okay. So Noah watches the tape. The phone rings. It's not the 7 days call, which everybody thought it was going to be.
Right.
Yeah.
Anytime a phone rings, you just instantly assume. Yeah.
So Rachel and Noah are talking about the tape, and Noah was just kind of like, okay. He didn't really believe her.
Yeah.
He's this very student film.
Yeah. He's like, no.
Like, okay.
He's like, okay, this is scaring you? Like, really? Like, some college students made this. You know? You're scared of this?
This is some Blair Witch shit here, honey. Don't worry about it. So he tells her that he's going to try to find out about the tape, and then he leaves. Just, in my opinion, it was just kind of dismissive. Like, yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
Definitely.
I'll look into it because, he's thinking, she got a nice booty and all, but she batshit crazy.
Right.
So Rachel's at work. She's a journalist, and she watches the tape again, trying to dissect it and find out what exactly is going on. Next day is Friday.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, come on.
Totally point out
Uh-huh.
that when she was arguing with her boss about not getting fired,
Yes, that was great.
boss move. I was like, oh
my
yeah,
God.
Yeah.
that's what I'm talking about.
You're fired. No, I'm not.
Like, that's what a journalist is all about. I was like, oh yeah, she's so cunty.
She's
I
like,
love it.
what I got cooking is too good, okay? Like, you want this story.
Like, calm down. You're gonna be thankful that you're gonna get this piece from me.
Yeah. Well, first off, like, I understand, like, journalists have to communicate with their editor and obviously get permission for stories, but, like, a big part of it's research. So, like, chill the fuck out, homie. Also, like, she just lost her cousin, like, she's her niece or something, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Her
lay
niece.
off.
And I mean, honestly, when you've got a good journalist, let them cook. That's all I have to say. She probably has that good story that she's gonna die. So, you might as well.
Exactly.
You fight for your good stories,
Yeah.
like you pick your battles with your editors. And some battles, you're like, nope, I'm fighting for this story because this is what's right. And if you have an editor, they're going to be like, all right, I believe you. Do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got to have a good editor for sure.
Exactly.
All right, so now it's Friday, and Noah and Rachel are doing some research about the tape, and they can't understand where it came from. They don't know. So
Back to square one.
Yes, they're in Noah's like loft thing, and of course Rachel's like, no, I'll do it, and ends up screwing up the tape. So Noah's girlfriend comes in.
This is such a funny moment.
This is awkward.
I love the part where he's like,
Awkward.
she's my assistant. And
Yeah.
she's like, actually, I think we're kind of more like, just two buddies, like, two peas in a pod.
Right. And then she kisses him.
Yeah.
Kisses him. And I'm like, yeah, this is awkward because clearly you two, which we didn't know at the time that they are who they are. I'm like, clearly you two want to sleep together. So,
Oh, yeah.
Exactly what I thought. Oh my God.
Yeah.
We knew
I'm like,
what's going on.
clearly y'all want to knock boots, and the girlfriend just came in. So,
The girlfriend is not quite aware that he has not fully moved on yet.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
No clue.
Yeah, and I'm like, does she even know who she
Probably
in fact
not.
really is? So
I always got the vibe that he didn't talk about,
yeah,
that he's got a kid somewhere. And
Right.
I don't think so.
He just is obliviously aware that he's a parent as Rachel is.
and by the way, in case you haven't figured it out, he's Aiden's father. So
Yeah.
I mean, I know we all know, but in case any of the listeners haven't figured it out already, it's Aiden's father.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Okay, so Rachel leaves. Next day is Saturday.
So we are on day 3, right?
We are on day 3. This is Saturday, day
Time
3.
is flying.
Time is flying so
Becca-
fast.
So Becca, their friend, is in the hospital, and Rachel talks to her about the cousin, and Becca says nothing. She kind of looks at her like, okay. So finally, when she does say something, she's like, she's going to show you in 4 more days. Rachel's like, who fitting to find what? Yeah, she's going to show you in 4 days because bitch gonna kill you. So
No, ma'am.
You're gonna die.
right?
No.
Thank you. No. I was watching that scene and I was like, no, thank you.
No.
Seriously.
You said what? I don't know what you're talking about. I don't speak English. No.
Right?
No, that's not going to happen.
After she put the kid to bed, and Aiden was like, "You gonna die. We ain't got time left." She needed to go to like her closest church and like have a pocket priest. So whenever anybody said anything stupid, she could just be like, "Here,
Like,
do something to this."
Yeah.
Jesus.
Because I can't.
It's
Rachel's
okay.
trying to find out more about the tape. She sees that there is a lighthouse in the film. So she wants to find out what's going on exactly. And she finds some flies, or a fly that's on the thing. She takes it off of the screen and nosebleed.
Oh, I hated this scene so much as a kid.
Oh,
I think
and
this is the reason why I still hate flies today.
Yeah.
Because it's creepy because you think it's part of the tape. Like
Yeah.
it's like crazy because it's part of the tape. We've all watched tape now, and at least several parts of it. We've seen it.
Yeah.
But then she stops it and it's still moving, and you're like,
Yes.
wait. And then she picks it up.
Exactly.
And it's like, what?
Ugh.
So now she goes to the library to find out, look up the local lighthouses and try to find out what what this lighthouse is, where it's at, all this good jazz. And I got written down here that this bitch has honed in on her Dick Tracy skills because they are on point. She is journalist of the year. She has found out where that was quicker than anybody I could ever think of.
Literally.
She was like, let me get this book down. Oh, there it is. So,
There
I
it
love
is.
I love how
Yeah.
she just happens to have a book for lighthouses,
Right?
and of course
Literally.
it's so well known that of course it's going to be in there in a book that she already owned. Like,
And if you think about it, there was no good internet back in the day.
nope.
yep.
There was no good Google Maps. None of the fancy technology that lets you see the street view.
No,
she
because
has-
when she was sitting on the floor with all that stuff around her looking all crazy, I was like, oh yeah, no, she honed in on this. Yeah.
Locked
This bitch is Google. So
Literally.
seriously, she is Google.
Oh my god, that's so funny. This bitch is Google. I love that.
All right, so we found out that it's I don't know if I can say or if I'm saying this right, Musica Island.
Yeah.
That was the name of the
Yeah.
island, right?
I believe so,
so, yeah.
It was some kind of island that sounds
Yeah,
like
we'll
that.
go with
So-
Musica. Why not?
Yes.
Yeah.
And she finds that the woman, Anna Morgan, has all these strange occurrences on her horse ranch on the island, and Anna has jumped to her own death.
Yes.
And now,
And her horses got sick.
yeah.
Yeah.
Upon rewatching it, long story short, I fell off a horse and I was rewatching it and I saw the horse link and then I linked it to when I fell, which was around the time that the movie had come out. And I was like, oh my God, now I understand my fear of horses.
Oh my gosh. You're like, it all
Literally, I was
clicks.
like, oh, it all makes sense. It all happened within that year, 2002.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
It's the year for trauma.
Right?
Gnarly.
Wow.
So now we're at Monday, guys. So
Oh, wait, how many days are left now?
I think this is 5,
That-
right?
I think that's
'cause
day
they skipped
5,
Sunday.
yeah.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
5.
They skipped Sunday altogether. What the hell happened on Sunday?
Nothing. It's the Lord's Day. Nothing happened that day.
Right. They went to
Nothing-
church.
They went to church. Nothing happened that day.
There's no way Rachel takes her kid to church.
No.
He goes on his own.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
See, she should have brought him directly to the church when she started talking about you're going to die in 4 days.
Well,
Okay.
So anyway, Noah's at the store and he's buying some cigarettes, and then he notices on the security camera as he turns that his face is distorted. So he's like, "Oh, wait a minute.
Blurry face
That's
is
no
a bad
bueno.
sign.
This
You
isn't
do not
good
want blurry
because
face.
this happened when I took a picture of her. Maybe something's going on here. So
And the
Maybe.
way the lady was looking at him through the screen and then looking
Right.
at him again, and she was like, "Am I tripping out?
Yeah.
Right.
Like, is this really happening?" I
Yeah.
felt so bad for her because Noah, yeah, okay, we
Right.
know you got into some shit with the tape,
Right.
but this man has no idea. And
Right.
she's just like, I'm a victim right now. I should. What is happening?
Exactly.
Ugh,
I
She's
chose
like,
the
"I'm just
wrong day
trying
to
to
go to
work,"
work.
you know?
Yeah,
Literally.
exactly.
literally.
So now Rachel gets home and she opens the door, and obviously there's a babysitter there, and the TV's on and it's all staticky. And she goes and wakes her up and scares the babysitter. She's not dead. She just fell asleep watching TV. So she goes in, she checks on. Yeah, she goes in, checks on Aiden, makes sure that he's sleeping. Well, at least you did something motherly.
Right.
Checked on your child. She calls somebody about watching Aiden because she has to go to work, and then she starts choking on the glass of water that she has. Now, okay, you think, okay, it went down the wrong pipe. No, obviously,
Oh no.
it's about drowning because then as she's holding the receiver, the water starts coming out of the receiver. So,
I hate it. I hate it.
yes.
I love it. The idea of pulling like something out like that, I think is
No.
terrifying, and I
Yeah.
It
love it
is.
because
It
like that's such a
is.
terrifying idea. Like you're choking, and then you're pulling, and it keeps going, and it keeps going, and it's like wow, like that
Have you
is
guys-
so terrifying. I
Have you
love it.
guys ever like had a hair stuck in your throat that you literally like had to pull out, or like just your
Yeah.
mouth in general? Like,
Yeah.
ugh.
Yeah.
Can you imagine
Mhm.
like a full strand of that crap just coming
no.
and coming? Ugh.
Terror.
No.
No, thank
Yes.
you.
None of that sounds good.
No, not at all. So Rachel dreams of Samara, and she wakes up with a bruise on her arm from where Samara had grabbed her. Aiden is now awake, and he's watching the tape. And of course, Mom's like freaked out because he's watched the tape.
Okay, but why was it so accessible?
Oh,
Right?
Yes.
This kid is like barely 3 feet high. Why do we just have it just mixed in with the Disney tapes?
And
Exactly.
she knows he's a curious boy. Like he's into like looking at stuff. He's obsessed with the TV thing right now too. She found him staring at the TV in his cousin's
Right.
room, and it's like, you know what? If you have this dangerous tape around, you should just like have that in a lockbox, in a safe, like something, or like on your person, like not in a place where your child can grab it.
Horrible mother.
So I think we've established that part.
Wow.
Yes.
Seriously.
So the phone rings, and she's like, oh, and it's Noah. And Noah says that he now believes her, and she says that Aiden, their son, has watched the tape. So now we know that he's daddy. Oh, well, no,
Yeah, he is.
he's not daddy. He's the guy who slept with her. So,
the
Fair
plot
point.
twist caught me so off guard.
yeah.
Oh
Did you
my
fall
God,
for it again on a rewatch?
absolutely. I was
Oh,
watching
okay.
it, and so funny enough, I watched it with my best friend who happens to live above me.
Yes.
I told her, I'm like, hey, I'm rewatching this movie. I'm scared to death. I support. And so she came down and we watched it. When the plot twist happened, we both looked at each other, paused the movie, and had to take a second because it was such a good delivery. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, this is juicy stuff. Oh,
It is.
I know, right?
good.
Their dynamic is
okay.
so interesting, so fun. Like
Yeah.
I think that it's very cleverly done where it's like we're not too like clingy on each
Uh-huh.
other or anything, but there's definitely some chemistry going back and forth. Like something had happened or there was hints and a conversation of something possibly happening.
There's
And,
unresolved
like,
vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
And
definitely
it
some
got, it
vibes
got me
there.
too, because I remember, obviously I've seen the movie a long time ago.
Yeah.
But when I was rewatching it just today, and she said that, and I was like, oh my God, yeah, I forgot. Oh, it totally took me by surprise too. I was like, yes,
Yeah.
yes,
It's amazing. I loved it. It was
yes.
the delivery of it. Oh,
So now Aiden is in the car with Noah, and he's pretty much just talking to him, and he's like, yeah, I know you're my dad. just, kind of like, yeah, whatever. He's like, do you wish I was around more? He's like, not really.
Good for him.
I mean,
Yeah, I was like,
seriously.
okay.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Well, it's
I
like I already
know.
have one shitty parent. Why would I need you
Right?
continuing
Why
to
do
I
disappoint
need
me
to
in my
deal
life
with
I don't
too?
need to take care of both of you. So,
Exactly.
Yeah, I know. I got my hands full taking care of this one over here.
right?
Seriously.
And, the father's justification, well, my dad was bad and I just didn't want to do that to you. No, sir.
You're still doing it
But
indirectly.
as a man,
Yeah.
I mean, and I know it's a movie, I wanted to reach through and just punch him in the face. I don't care.
Yep.
Yeah.
Be better than your dad then. You step up
Exactly.
and be the dad you didn't have.
It's
So,
embarrassing.
yeah,
I wanted to punch him in the face too. Trust me.
exactly. I was like, I hope you die a slow, painful death, sir.
Yeah,
He does,
especially seeing how the poor kid like got the dress ready for his mom and got himself ready for the funeral.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, you guys are the shittiest parents
Yeah.
I ever.
Yeah.
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 And he's
in
lost
a
his
horror
best
movie like
friend.
yeah, in a horror
Yeah.
movie, this is definitely some of the worst parents I've
Yeah.
seen in a
Yeah.
long if I think maybe even ever. Like these makes Babadook mom look like a saint.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. Mother of the
Mom
year.
of the ward. Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
All right, so Rachel is still trying to find out what's happening. So she goes to the island and Noah goes to the hospital. Rachel then finds out that Anna had a daughter. She's at the house.
Lots of children's surprises here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Lots of shitty parenting too.
So
Yeah.
Rachel is now on the ferry to go over to the island. She sees a horse on there. She goes up, starts talking to it, and like reaches in
I
and
would do.
starts petting it. And right, I mean, it's an animal, so I'm gonna pet you and talk to you. But it looks
be
in her
the
eye,
person.
and horse loses his shit, breaks out of the stall, starts running around like crazy, and jumps ship, and obviously the horse dies.
That's how you can tell that that woman is not a good parent, because if animals can't trust you, mm-mm.
There you
I'm just
go.
sorry.
I'm so done.
I'm so serious. Animals pick up on vibes.
It's
Listen.
true. It's true. The
I mean,
horse
so-
hated her guts.
Also, so does your 7-year-old child. When I don't know, they have to do everything. So.
Exactly. So the fact
Yeah.
that the horse is picking up on the evil juju you've got around you, and he's like,
Yeah.
I gotta go.
He literally is like, I'm just gonna kill myself because
Literally.
it would mean not having to be around you any longer.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If I gotta jump ship, I'm doing it. That's what he said.
That's
Yeah.
right.
I,
I gotta say that moment though when the horse goes under the boat and everybody runs to the other side and that bloody water spurts
Oh my
out. It's a
God.
Yeah.
great
So shocking.
cinematic moment. It's
Yes, it is.
it's so it really sticks with you, and it was in the video, so you're like, whoa, that's one of the things from the
Yeah.
video, the horses and the
Yes.
blood in the water. So it was cool. It was a shocking moment for a
Yeah.
PG-13 especially. I was like,
Yeah.
oh wow, because I think I was like about 13 when I saw this movie, so
Listen,
I was
two
I
things
was the
that
target
always
audience.
two things that always shock me in horror when it happens: animal horror, animal death, and children dying. Because like those are the two things like you are sure to get to me for sure if you do those.
Because they're innocents.
Yeah.
Yep.
So now Noah is now at the hospital to get some information, and he ends up having to break into the records room. Rachel's at the island at the Morgan house now, and she sees the window from the tape, and she was like, oh, so this is the house. Okay, bet.
We are on the right track.
Right? She goes into the back and she finds this guy who she needs to talk to about the horses. He agrees. We find out later that it's her husband. Says that the horses sense some things before they happen, so maybe that's why they killed themselves, blah, blah, blah. She sees the mirror in the house and she tells the husband about the tape, and he was like, okay, we're done. Throws her out.
Get out.
Throws her out, tells her, leave it alone.
Yeah.
Let's not even talk about it. Yeah, leave her alone, but I got down here. Dick Tracy not about to do it. she's not about to do it. She's with her Dick Tracy skills, so she's gonna find out what's
It's
happening.
work.
So yeah, so that's
He's
it.
like, I made a copy, all right?
Exactly. So Noah is searching for documents, and his nose starts bleeding. Aiden's drawn all now. It pans back to Aiden, and he's drawn all kinds of ring stuff. You know, the circles, the wells, all that. She's drawn all his little creepy, killer kid shit.
Oh, they're so good too. I love that collection. If it wasn't so creepy to have up in a gallery, yeah, no, I want it. It's cool.
Right?
I love all the kids' drawings. I want them.
So Rachel calls Aiden, and she's like, "So why did you draw this house? Why did you draw the house that you gave to mommy?" And he says that the girl told him to. And she's like, "Wait a minute. What do you mean she told you to? She talks to you?" And he's like, "No, she shows me this stuff. She shows me what to draw, and she lives in the dark place." I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
So the dead girl shows you what to draw, and she lives in the dark place?
Immediately, I'm getting a priest.
Yep. I'm calling a priest, a
Children's
pastor,
therapy?
a rabbi.
Children's therapy.
A shaman. I'm telling
Right?
you.
I'm like, we gonna be calling somebody.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
He'd be in therapy like yesterday.
Hello.
Come on.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So
I need to
Rachel
talk
now
to
goes
somebody.
right.
Yeah.
Rachel now goes to the doctor who's on the island and starts questioning her about the Morgans and the daughter. And the doctor says that they had adopted a daughter named Samara. And Anna went to this doctor and said that Samara was the cause of all of her problems and all of her issues. Every time she was around Samara is when she had all of her issues.
That's when
That
she
poor
would.
innocent girl. Oh, I'm not even going to get into it.
Yes.
That's projecting.
So the doctor referred them to a psychiatrist on the mainland where Samara, when she left, everything on the island got better because she's no longer there.
Mm-mm.
It doesn't seem like it's gotten better. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
Everybody still seems kind of in a not great place on the island. you
Yeah.
Right.
know? Yeah.
Okay, so Noah is BSing the people trying to find out about watching the tape, and finally the guy's like, "Yeah, we're gonna let you watch the tape," but turns out that the actual real father of Samara had watched the tape last.
Ooh.
Yes. So Rachel is back at the Morgan's house. She goes in. She sees Samira in the mirror, and starts looking around. Which, okay, this is all happening. You knocked on the door. Nobody answers, so you just walked in this guy's house. It's a good way to get shot, lady, and just starts going through this stuff. So she finds the birth certificate and a tape from the hospital. Sees that she's strapped in a chair. Says she sees the pictures just as they are, and boom, gets hit in the head by the father. Samira says that Daddy wants her to leave. Doesn't want her there. Doesn't love her. That he only loves the horses. I'm sorry, that happened before Mr. Morgan hit her in the head, and then she hits her in the head and grabs the TV.
Right.
Go ahead.
Now that you pointed out, the movie's just a bunch of shitty parents.
Yes,
it is.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like not even if, but like obviously later on we find out that Samara is actually like doing like crazy things, but like regardless, they still adopted her. Like when you take on a child, that means taking on everything about them. Like you're committed to the well-being of this child. So why aren't you trying to help her instead of, I don't know, throwing her down a well? Like
your child is your child, and you love them regardless through any of the crap.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Okay, so
They need to take some lessons from the Omen parents, from Damien's
Right?
parents.
right? I'm like, at least he wouldn't kill his kid, even if he was the Antichrist.
I know.
Jesus.
So he goes into the bathroom, and the tub's going, and there's water on the floor, and he takes the TV and plugs it into the electrical outlet that he has on him, and then boom, electrocutes himself and kills himself in the bathtub, which I just found to be an absolutely awesome kill. I thought that was great. So
It's very Saw. It was like a Saw trap, like a self-made
was.
Saw trap. He had like a
Yes.
horse bit and everything.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh
The
wow,
setup
like
is kind of crazy. Not gonna lie to you.
yeah.
yeah, the art behind this whole setup. I mean,
Yeah.
he had to put this thing together.
Yeah.
Noah is now at the house with Rachel. So Noah and Rachel go into the barn, and they see the ladder that was also in the tape. So they go up the ladder to the loft, and they see that this is where the father had kept Samara up there away from everybody. They see some wallpaper start peeling, so they start peeling it down. They see the tree that has been burned into the wall. So
It's so depressing to see the setup that she was in,
yes,
because it just showed so much negligence and like the want to get rid of her.
Yeah.
They just isolated her basically. So in a way, now having rewatched the movie, yes, it still scares the absolute hell out of me, but there is a grown like melancholy and sadness when I see that.
Yeah.
It's
Agreed.
For the
definitely
kids.
Agreed.
You feel for the
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
You feel for Samara. Like, especially at this point, we are just feeling for this girl who obviously has stuff going on, and we're like, okay, maybe she caused some trouble, maybe, but it sounds more like her parents were assholes, and yeah.
Exactly.
There's
But
some
yeah, I feel bad
parallels.
for her too.
Exactly. So when they remove the wallpaper and they see the tree, they realize that it is from the mountain by the cabin. So back to cabin number 12 they go.
It's almost like we could have just stayed here to finish this out.
Right? So they're in the room, and Rachel's kind of like losing her shit, and she's just like, I'm giving up. It's too late for me. I'm gonna die by sunrise, and you know, I'm over. That's what's gonna happen.
like, girl, you got this far. You're gonna give up now? Really? Ugh.
Right?
You got time. Start
And
sleeping again.
Again, shitty mother, because if I was on my deathbed and I knew I was gonna die, but I could do something to stop my child from dying because he's seen the tape too, I would have to take my last breath before I gave up.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Like,
fight all the way.
it just shows how shitty of a parent you are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Noah starts losing his shit, starts throwing things around not because I think he cares anything about Aiden, but I think he probably just wants to get a piece.
No, I honestly
So-
think it's just because he's like, well, if you can't figure it out, if you
Right.
can't do this, I can't either, and I'm fucked.
Right.
Like,
Right,
I don't
'cause he
think they're
watched it
thinking
too.
about Aiden at all.
He's got bloody
Yeah,
face. He's got bloody nose. He's got the
Exactly.
symptoms.
exactly.
So he's throwing stuff around, and they see, was it marbles?
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that kind of roll, and they're like, oh, wait, hold up. Wait a minute. Something under the floor. So, bam, grabs an axe, because there just happens to be an axe there.
Convenient.
Conveniently, and they go through the floor, and boom, it's a well.
Look
So-
at that. Wow.
So they remove the top of the well, which, by the way, have you ever been to a well that has a top like that?
Yeah,
No.
you cannot move.
Do
it
you
with
know
two
how
people.
freaking heavy they are?
Heavy.
Two
It
people
looked
would move
heavy.
that.
There's no
Yeah.
way they could have done that.
Two people wouldn't move that. And I realize it's a movie, but I'm like, my God, those things are freaking heavy.
And
It
she's
looked
tiny.
heavy.
There's no way.
Yeah. I mean, a septic tank lid is only this big,
Yeah.
Those are heavy.
and those are heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I digress. So, anyway, they remove the top, TV upstairs, because now they're underground, under the basement, or under the floor,
Yeah.
and the TV starts flickering, and flies come up out of the well just all up over. And
Nope.
boom, Rachel, she goes a tumbling. Bitch goes a tumbling into the well.
I think
Goodbye.
that it's the TV that did it, because like the TV turns on, it gets all snowy and staticky, and it's like, I'm gonna get you, and then it jumps and knocks you
Exactly.
right
Yeah.
in, and I'm like, oh, that TV is evil.
So Rachel's now at the bottom of the bell, and Noah yells to her and says that he's going to get her out because, you know, why wouldn't he?
Right.
He's got to do something helpful here.
Exactly.
I don't know about you guys, but if I was Rachel, I wouldn't have much faith in this man.
No, I'd be like, well, I'm dead.
Truly.
I'm screwed.
No
Like,
hope.
you
Exactly.
literally dipped when I got pregnant and had a kid. Like, I don't see you helping me in this situation, but okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So Rachel now finds a fingernail stuck in the side of the oh God. And that is just like fingernails in it. Oh God, it tears me up.
I know.
Yes.
You can feel anytime you see something like
Yes.
fingernail related, you can feel it. You can just like feel the ouch and the ick, like the sinking feeling of dread you would have like to lose your nail like that, like the pain and the place that you're at mentally to do that.
Especially in the tape when they show the fingernail getting stabbed with
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
You're
No.
not doing that.
I've
So
lost a toenail before.
Mm-hmm.
And that was rough because I literally had to pull the toenail off.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's like, yeah,
no.
it's bad. It's bad. There's lots of pain. People don't realize how much pain there is.
yes.
Oh, that's painful. Yeah.
So after she finds the fingernail, the lid goes back onto the well, and Samara grabs Rachel's arm, holds onto her. So now we get Samara standing at the well because we realize that she's now having like a dream or a vision. Samara is showing this to Rachel. Samara is standing at the well, and it sounded like she was singing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do that to you too? It sounded like she was singing a little song.
I thought she was too, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so mom then puts a bag over her head and smothers her and suffocates her and throws her and tosses her into the well.
No remorse.
Thinking she killed her and throws her in there, but no, she was still alive when she went into the well.
Yep.
Rachel finds the body in the well and, you know, brings it up and she's holding it. And then it turns into that corpse looking thing, which is just creepy as all get out.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was very cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the cops arrive and get Rachel and the body out, and they're talking about they're going to bury the, you know, body in a week, blah, 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 all that good stuff. So
can I just say,
yep.
Go ahead, Nina.
Can I just say, like, Rachel and Rachel spent more time caring about this child she's never met.
Yes.
Compared to her own. Like, it's just like when she's holding Samara's body, I'm just like
you have a whole life.
You have a whole child back that way that needs you.
Yeah,
but it's like, okay.
Motherly instinct and use it for
it's like, look at
with your
exactly.
child.
It's like that motherly instinct, and you're just like, oh, I can't believe somebody did this to you. And it's like, bro, you've got your own trauma back there that you've been
like your child exacting out. Rachel.
Yeah.
What?
So Rachel and Noah are talking about, you know, how could she have done this, blah, blah, blah. You know, how long could Samara have lasted?
7 days.
In the well. 7 days. That's how long it lasts.
It felt like a knife twisted in my gut when that was said. I was like, oh my God.
It was so good though, where it's like, where it's like, that's why it's 7 days. That's great and awful. My question is, what the hell do you think they told the cops who came to like handle this? How do you explain that to them? You're like, well, they were here staying at the cabin, and then for normal reasons, we decided to crack open the floorboard, and for normal reasons, go ahead and go into this well for totally normal reasons and find a dead body in there for normal reasons. But what did they tell them? Like, were the cops just like, so what happened here? How did you
Great
find
camping
this?
trip, huh?
Right?
My guess is they probably were like, she fell through the floor and I had to pry up the floor to get to her in the well. Like that's what I would have told them. Been like,
Yeah.
and that's all you're getting out of me.
Right?
Yeah. Because that's quite a situation where it's like, why were you here? Why were you down there? What?
Don't worry about
okay,
it.
we'll take the body.
Right? You mind your business and just take this body, officer.
Yeah.
So,
Like it's just a camping trip. What are you talking
right?
about?
Yeah.
All right. So now they get home and Aiden's asleep on the floor. They take him and they put him to bed, and Noah leaves. Rachel showers, and you see the water swirl down the drain, which I thought was just freaking awesome.
It was, yeah.
I loved that.
Me too.
Aiden wakes up with Rachel in his bed with him, and she tells Aiden that, she set Samara free. And Aiden says, why the hell did you do that? She never sleeps. You shouldn't have set her free. That's not how any of this works here there, Rachel. So,
And it's like,
Rachel.
wait,
right?
mistake.
The amount of anxiety
Yeah.
when that little kid said those words, it just settled in, and I was like, oh,
Right.
we're not done.
And then we see his nose start bleeding.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now Noah's at home and the TV starts with a static, and he goes and he turns that off, turns it on. He sees the tape playing. Then he sees Samara coming up out of the well, and he's just like, no, this ain't happening. She starts walking toward the TV screen, and then bitch comes up out the TV.
Hell.
Out the TV.
It'd be like Scary Movie 2 where
Right.
you're dragging her by the hair like, bitch, no.
Exactly. All right, now I got to stop here. Nina, I believe you and Jamie were both with me. The best cosplay that I have ever seen, bar
Yes.
any, was The Ring. Do you remember this? Was it in Indie Days of the Dead?
I think it was Indy, yeah.
I think it was Indy. I remember it. It was so cool.
A parent, you know the big TVs.
Yeah.
They took the screen out and just had the shell, but the parent was pulling like a big oversized like a wagon or whatever.
Yeah.
And there was a girl dressed like Samara in there, and whenever they would stop, just randomly, she would crawl out of the TV and just like crawl over to people. It was the best cosplay I think I've ever seen.
It was incredible.
Yeah.
That is
Really
very
amazing.
very cool.
It was
All
awesome.
out.
We have pictures of it somewhere between the three of us. I know we do. So if we could try to find them and put them on our socials for that, and
Please.
that
Oh
would
my
be
God,
awesome.
Love to see it.
Yes.
Oh, it was so good.
That was
Yeah.
awesome. Okay. So she comes out the well. Rachel races over to Noah's house.
Without her son, by the way,
without
who's
her
gonna
son,
die.
But that's okay. 'cause
Driving
he's
like a maniac, too,
he's
if I
at
recall.
home doing whatever he does because
Yeah.
she leaves him home alone anyway. So Rachel finds Noah dead in the chair, screams, runs out the house, sees the girlfriend coming in.
To which I will say that make the special effects
Yes.
oh
So
Yes.
good.
fan
So
freaking
good.
tastic.
So good.
Shocking to the core. I'm telling
Yeah.
you, I personally feel like, and I'll dive into it a little more later, but the movie holds up so well.
The special
agreed.
effects,
To this
especially.
day, you're like, holy shit! Like this is still scary.
Yes.
So Rachel now gets home and she busts in the door and she tells Aiden, go to his room. Go to your room. Okay. So
Screams at him.
screams at him,
And he's like, goes into the room.
Like, all right,
Breaks
Rachel, bye.
breaks the tape, burns it. Rachel realizes that she has a copy and that's why she didn't die, because she just wanted to be heard. So
Mhm.
she made a copy. So Samara is not going to kill her because she just wants to be heard. So Rachel, kind of smart here, grabs Aiden and was like, here, we're going to make another tape. So you have a tape, so you won't die, because she just wants to be heard. And then Aiden asks her, okay, I know why we're doing this, but what about the other people who see this tape? Of course, she didn't answer, but I'd have been like, well, fuck them. You're alive.
Yeah.
You're alive. So
That's basically.
yeah. So
you have to make a copy and then show it to somebody. It's
Exactly.
not
You
just
have to
make a copy.
pass it on, basically, like spread it, like it's a
Exactly.
virus.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Aiden makes the copy so he won't die. End of movie. Samira just wants to be heard. So
Well, I like how it ends where Aiden's just like, who will we show it to? And Rachel's just like, who gives a fuck? Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Could be
don't
anybody.
care. It could
Right?
be anybody.
And it's so sad now that you put it into perspective, because honestly, I didn't really catch on to like her wanting to be heard until you pointed it out. Like I was just like, oh, okay, like it ended, they're free, whatever. But now that you said that she just wanted to be heard, it's like, damn, like that's what happens when you have really shitty parents. Like you just want somebody to hear you out.
Have you seen the second one?
No.
Okay. We'll have to have you back to do the second one.
Yeah.
We'll give you a few months in between so you can break it out.
Please.
Next time Jamie comes into town, everybody can come over to my house. I'll cook and we'll watch the second one.
Sounds
That'd
like
be
a
so
plan.
fun.
That sounds
Yeah.
amazing.
So,
Do it.
I'm into it.
Let's get into some fun facts real quick. All right.
Yeah.
So Gore Verbinski, the director, he turned down the opportunity to make Catch Me If You Can so he could make this instead.
Wow.
That's amazing because Catch Me If You
was.
Can was a really big deal.
but this
It
was a
was.
better movie.
But this was such a better movie. Oh my
This was
god.
a better movie. So
Agreed.
Come on.
Yeah.
By a landslide, I'm very glad that he actually chose that. Good for him.
Me too. Me
Yeah.
too.
The Mesco Island Lighthouse, that's a fictional name for a real lighthouse located in Newport, Oregon. It was built in 1873, and the real lighthouse is named Yaquina Head Lighthouse and is still currently an active aid to navigation. It is apparently, it has a reputation to be haunted by the ghost of a former keeper.
Ooh, field
Yeah.
trip.
Field trip.
Lighthouse field trip.
Yes.
It's the dream.
you do realize in the last year we got a lot of field trips to go to.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, we're like, oh, we're
Yeah,
going there.
we
We're going there.
really
so let's
do.
do it.
We
Add
will
this one to the
eventually.
list.
On
You guys
its
are
first.
braver than me. I don't think you can do a haunted location. No.
Oh, I love
Oh,
it.
I'm ready.
Let's do it.
On its first week of release in the United States and Canada, select cinemas put actual copies of the cursed tape on seats for unsuspecting viewers as freebies. The cursed video is now available as an Easter egg feature on the DVD. So that's fun.
If any of you listeners have one of those, if any of you like scored one of those, you have to like share your story, share it with us, like show us a picture or something, because how cool is that? How cool would it be to get one of those? Like
Seriously.
That would actually be so terrifying. Like you're just
it
going to
would
watch
be.
like a movie, just very normally, and you just see a tape on your chair. What?
Yeah, and then you watch the movie and then you go home and watch the tape and you're like, and what if a phone rings right after? Like
I
how
know.
Ugh.
And I can only imagine that the cassette just shows the tape of,
It does, yeah.
So imagine you get the tape, you put it on, and you're like, what is this imagery?
I would turn it off right
7
away and be like,
days.
nope.
What the fuck? No.
Until Stephen King's It from 2017 was released, this movie was the highest grossing horror remake ever, with a total worldwide gross of over $249 million.
Wow.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Hell
that's
yeah.
incredible. Yeah. It sold more than 2 million DVD copies in the US alone in its first 24 hours of video release.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Right? Let's see here. Since the release of The Ring in Canada, the story of the cursed video has become very popular in some provinces, and the story is even passed by kids in school as a rumor that it actually happened.
Ooh,
so it's like a little
nice.
urban legend in Canada.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah. One more for you guys about the film's color. So, for the choice of the film's color, it was decided that everything was to be tinged with the color green to give the film a very sickly, unnatural feeling. Sets were also lit in a way that none of the characters have a shadow to create an almost subconscious sense of creepiness.
Ooh,
Oh, that's
okay.
so cool.
Never noticed that. So
The
that's
shadow
fun.
thing, I did
Really?
not. That's cool. I mean, I have to
Yeah.
watch it again now and
Right?
just watch for the shadows.
Oh
Same.
no, the color. I know to this day, actually, in doing the rewatch, the color does it for me. It is
I love the color.
so
I do too.
unsettling that I was even watching it and I was telling my best friend, I'm like, I don't think we should be watching this. Like, it just feels like I shouldn't be there. And
Yeah.
it was so good.
Totally.
I love it. All right, let's get into rating this movie. Mayara, you are our guest, so we will start with you. We rate 1 being the worst movie ever, and then 10 being the greatest movie you've ever seen in your life. So 1 to 10.
Ooh, I'm gonna have to give it like a solid 8.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
Especially because no horror movie has made me feel the way that this one makes me feel, where the dread settles in for me, the
Yeah.
eeriness. It's timeless. It reminds me of when I was little. So, if I can still get that feeling years past, I think it's just a solid film.
I love it. Good.
Yeah.
Jamie?
I'm right around there with you. I'm going to give it like a 7.5, 7.5 or something. I'm right there with you. I haven't seen this in a while. So rewatching it, I was like really happy to see how well it's held up. Like, it's still scary. It's a PG-13 movie, but it doesn't feel like a PG-13 movie because sometimes that can really like bring down the scare level. It didn't bring down the scare level on this. The scare level was still there. I love horror movies with a journalist, so I love that we have that going on. And then I just think even to this day, this movie has some just truly iconic moments, like cinema moments. The moment at the end where we finally see her come out of the TV, like that's so rewarding. The build up to that through the whole movie till we like that scene right there, iconic. And the movie itself, the film and the movie, so iconic. I mean, people have like a visceral kind of memory or reaction to like seeing that. So the fact that it still holds up all these years and has all these iconic moments still is pretty impressive. And it just held up really amazing. So really like this one.
I'm going to be a little bit higher than you guys just because this is right up my alley in terms of supernatural horror. It's one of my favorite subgenres. I'm going to give this a 9. Just because like I saw this as a kid. It still creeps me out. Like even so many years later, it holds up in terms of special effect, the story, even though it dates itself with the technology and everything like that. It still holds up. And even like a modern viewer, I don't think you'd be affected by the old technology and everything. It's creepy. It's very visceral. I love it. Naomi Watts is incredible, and this was like when she was an unknown actress.
Yeah.
One of my faves. Love her.
So great. And this movie is so iconic for so many reasons, and it did so much for the horror genre. You see so many movies now like trying to copy it, and they never will be able to because it's just so unique, and the rewatchability is so good on this one. So it's a 9 for me. Ethan?
Excellent. Well, normally I don't like PG-13 movies, just because I really like, a lot of blood and gore in my movies. You guys know that slasher flicks are my thing. So, normally I would be like, yeah, PG-13. It might be, it's all right. But this movie I actually really do like. I really think it's good. I do think it held up as well. Like you were saying, Nina, there are some moments in here that will, like her coming out of the TV, that's going to be like a horror movie history. I mean, we're not going to nobody's going to ever do that again. I mean,
no.
Yeah. Supernatural, I like them, but they're not, my absolute favorite. But this one I think was done very, very well. I would also give it a 7.5, Jamie. you should definitely see it. I would recommend it to people. I have recommended it to people. I think it's a great movie.
Yeah, this movie did so much for 2000s horror. Like,
Yeah.
oh, it's unreal.
Your natural horror is my bread and butter. Ugh.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's been The Ring from 2002. Keep an eye out because hopefully, like, within 6 months, we'll have Ring 2 out and about.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Oh no.
But thank you, Mayara, for coming on. We really appreciate you.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
No, thank you so much for having me. I always have such a blast.
Yes.
And I'm looking forward to the rings. Ever since I was little too, I heard the name and I was like, I'm never naming my child Samara. I'm never being friends with a girl named Samara. Out of bounds for me.
Love
So
it. Oh my
yeah.
God.
Love it.
We'll definitely have to have you back, even for something that's not Ring related, I promise.
Oh my God, sick. Please. I have a goal of like 150 movies this year. So
Oh,
bring
we'll do it.
on.
Awesome.
We got you.
Yeah.
Now, just remember, listeners, if you ever find yourself in a horror movie, don't have sex.
Don't do drugs.
And certainly don't die. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.